Yes, I'm drawing these pictures, which are pictures that you can do within an hour. And I'm in lockdown, and of course, toilet rolls. The first lockdown, everyone went wild for going out and buying toilet rolls. I've got a few in the house. I've got one here. I'm gonna have a go at drawing it. So I'm going to draw an ellipse to start with, and that's going to be my cylinder for my toilet roll. Now, you've probably seen me do this before. I draw an ellipse on the top and the bottom, then ignore the bottom back of the ellipse because the ellipses are symmetrical. You'll be able to, although if you get a toilet roll and it's squashed slightly, that's going to distort it a bit. And then I'm going to draw an ellipse on this side. Now, that's for the other toilet roll. Now, I would say that when you go to draw this, I'm going to not draw the one behind it, that's going to be hidden behind. And there's going to be a bit of roll laid out there. You can, as you draw, so I've drawn there. If you draw that way, you can actually turn your paper and draw the other ellipse the other way. So you don't have to, if you've got good at drawing an ellipse this way, you don't have to, then get good at drawing the ellipse this way. You can actually turn your paper. And one thing to see about the ellipse, and that's this line here, this distance here between these two edges are going to be smaller, and then this is going to be wider. So from there to there, what you've actually got is going to be shorter, and then the width is going to stay the same. So what you've got is a circle that actually shrinks on the width. So this is actually a circle, but those two bits get closer together. Now, in my toilet roll, there's going to be a middle tube, and same on there. Don't know how light that's come up on the camera. I'm going to have a go now with a pen. So that's going to go. There's another thing. You want the ellipse on the roll to be smaller or the same size, not bigger than the ellipse on the one in the foreground, because the one in the foreground is going to be larger because it's closer to you. So principle of perspective, where everything gets smaller as it goes further away. Just like these two lines, this line and this line can be parallel, but it can't get wider as it goes out, as to either get thinner or stay the same size, which same distance apart, which would be parallel. That bit of toilet roll is going to come off the bottom there. And as it goes across, it's going to have a little bump in it, and then on the other side that's going to have a bump in it as well. So it's going to be about there, and then it could be a bit frayed. Now that is the structure of my drawing. You can draw that out first in pencil, and then go in with pen. I'm going to go for some shading now. So this toilet roll is going to cast a shadow, and in between the objects it's going to be quite dark. So, and that's going to be a little cross-hatching technique. This roll as well, I'm going to cast a shadow there. Even though it's white objects, the white objects, they still actually get shadows on them. They're not just white. Likewise with black objects, you will get highlighted areas. So of course you can turn your picture. I'm keeping my picture up this way, but if you feel you can get a nice curve that way, you can go with the curve of your hand. There's going to be more lines around here because you're going to see the sheets are going to create lots of ellipses. That's going to be quite dark in there, inside the tube. little spiral inside, I notice, when I come to the end of a toilet roll. And yeah, I'm going to have a shadow there. I think on my first drawing I just did it completely in shade. Each picture is going to be different. Here I'm going to have a bit of raw coming off, and then that gives me an excuse to cast a shadow in there, because then I can help suggest the shape of it. You know, I've got a little curve going there to actually sweep around and suggest the actual shape of the toilet roll. There might be some light coming through this bit of raw, so this, because it's only one piece of toilet paper, so it might be quite light, but this piece, I have a shadow cast on it, and I'm going to cast a shadow on the other side. What I'm going to do is go slower around the top because I want a nice edge there, and then as I get to the bit where I just fill in it, go quicker. So there I've got to go around nice and slow, take my time to get that. If you watch the tea Robin on a teapot picture, you can see that I just went frenetic on that one, but this one I'm going to just go slower around the odd bits that need to be accurate, and then fill it in. Again, I could turn that upside down, so I think when I did this one, I turned the picture upside down to get the curves around. Just trying to keep the picture upright at the moment so you could see as I'm drawing it. That bit there where I've drawn underneath, for about this bit here where the paper, I've done it sticking up a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to shadow under there. Obviously it goes nice and slow to get that nice edge, and then fill in. And some of these where the paper sticks up slightly, I'm going to do not a straight edge, you notice, so as though the paper doesn't sit flat on the table. So, and then there's a frayed bit at the end. And to create that bump, I'm going to put a bit of shadow there, and then a little bit of, I'm going to look on my original picture. Yeah, create a little bit of shadow there and a little bit on the other side. So I'm going to do the same here. I observed that, by the way, by looking at somebody else's drawing. Obviously you could lay down some toilet rolls and draw straight from life. That would be an admirable thing to do. And seeing we're in lockdown, you may well have a few in the house. Hopefully you've watched this years later and it's not lockdown anymore. Ever. Right. Right, I'm going to go back to this picture and have a look. Now, I've put some shading behind there. On my last picture I was doing, my pen was out, and I've kept that pen. I kept that pen because if you want to do lighter, wispier bits, a pen that's running out sometimes is worth keeping, because you can get that lighter area. You've realised that as you shade, that actually gets lighter. You can use that for when you want to do a bit of subtle drawing. I've also put some lines just straight across like this to create a table, so, or a surface. So one little trick that I always tend to do is put a line going across the back of a picture there, and then it looks like it's sat on a table or something like that. That one I've put a bit of shading behind. Instead of just watching me draw, I'll leave it to you and you draw. That's a system called cross hatching. That's a good way of showing off your ellipses. have a go at drawing some rules of toilet paper.